Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Crusaders of the Lost Idols weekly live stream. We're coming to you live from beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, in the safe little streaming closet and from Kat's apartment. I am Erika, the live services manager for Crusaders of the Lost Idols and the community manager for Codename Entertainment. And with me is the lead artist for Crusaders, Kat.
Hi.
So we're going to be going over the polymorph lesson coloring sheets this morning to start off the stream. Mm-hmm. And then, as the now drawing says, we'll be teasing next week's new Crusader.
Yeah. So, as always, thanks everybody for participating and sending in your coloring sheets. I know this one was a little... didn't have a very good balance because it was a very complicated little corner with all these little frogs, but
I do like the pile of frogs, though.
Thank you. I thought it was important to the concept. This one has a nice like toaster frog gradient going on, and this one is very funny. This would be one of Bungo Bounce's. Everything is squiggles.
Yeah.
And like, it's a fair bit of effort to change all of the
frog legs.
Yeah, all the legs and arms and put the eyeballs on some of them. And yeah, I definitely appreciate that. It's very funny. Yeah, very colorful frog mishaps, I guess we'll call them. And it's sort of half and half people coloring Gloria's eyes. That was supposed to be the shine because her eyes are very big.
Right.
But it's understandable. Even when I did them, I was like, I wonder how well this is going to translate. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, this one has a nice background and slightly muted colors to sort of go with the like catacombs looking
classroom thing.
Dealy, yeah. Oh, that's the same one with the background. Everybody did a slightly different green for their frogs, and it's just nice to see the variations.
Yeah. Gloria's eyes of blackness in that one.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the less detailed one where her eyes make more sense.
Right.
I
didn't have the shine.
The shine, yeah. It's always kind of like, do I add the shine? Do I not? Because usually that's not part of the line art, but sometimes it helps with like readability and stuff. I kind of like that Ilsa.
Ilsa?
Yeah. I kind of like the spooky red eyes on this one.
Yeah. And she doesn't have the face paint in the original, right? Or
she has face paint. I forget the colors of her official stuff, but it's the same as like her gloves and stuff.
Oh, okay. Right, so small.
Yeah, the non-detailed one doesn't have face paint. This one has very thick lines and a very limited palette, but it works out. Just yellow and blues and green. Yeah. I like the pastel-y magic background on this one. And the gradient in her hair.
Yeah.
And just the pile of frogs. I think it's some kind of picture of frogs in the background. It's sort of hard to tell.
Oh, like grab some stock image of frog and then layer it in or something?
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
And here's a nice pencil crayon one. Again, I like all the effort put into the many bits of frog. And I'm glad that people seem to more or less understand what I was going for some of them, because like underneath the teacup is supposed to be a clock, and people seem to at least understand that like that's the tongue and there's an eye and stuff.
Right.
So that's just good for me. I like this fiery palette for Ilsa, and the purple and yellow flower. That's really nice too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is Zodi's. They sort of put extra eyes on things, which are pretty cute. And then in the background, there's like a life cycle of frogs and another little clip art thing.
Right.
They're cute. And Gloria has some like stripes on her tail. Yeah. And this one's really nice with pencil crayon again. I like the sort of marble countertop thing going on. And just lots of different types of frogs.
Yeah, all the frog types.
Yeah, spotted and striped and rainbow frog toaster. Yeah, this one's pretty impressive. Here's a nice sort of simple one. Some good multicolored, all the objects and just the green legs.
Yeah.
Oh, and the AI colored ones. Again, they just look good. AI knows what it is doing. These blues for these two frogs are really nice. And I like that it sort of made Ilsa's face like flushed.
Yeah.
And that's the last one for these ones. So, as always, thank you for participating and sending in things. As Erika mentioned, I'm going to be teasing the next Crusader. And I'm using a different program this week because Photoshop was giving me some grief last time. But it shouldn't make too much of a difference to you guys.
Yeah. Cool. So we've got some regulars in chat. We've got Slab McLartuge, JS Random Numbers, Storinda, Leptimus, Jabble, Susan, Fly by Moon, Green Samurai, Croc, Lexi Ree. JS Random Number says, "Hey, Erika and Kat."
Hey.
Storinda says, "Had a ton of fun with the polymorph sheet. Love the poison dart frogs, so spent a lot of time figuring out colors for the different items."
Awesome.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
And Susan says, "Good morning, Kat and Erika." Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Fly by Moon asks, "Were those frogs items first or animals first?"
The intent was that they were items first, and Gloria was teaching her how to turn things into toads because that's Gloria's ability.
Right.
So Ilsa never managed to get them more than like partway through. Whether that was on purpose or not, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Hardball UK says, "Good morning, ladies. Before the mayhem begins, I would like to thank you and your team for a great game. I hope it continues on into the future."
Thanks.
As long as players keep playing and supporting it, then the Crusaders game will stick around, keep being updated and stuff. We got Mela Anian saying, "Hi, ladies." And King of the Slide says, "Hi," and "Ooh, new Crusader." Yeah. Teasing next week's event, Crusader, because next week is the Summer Sabotage event.
Mm-hmm.
So with fan favorites of Dr. Evil and Mildred.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the skin will be for Mildred, right?
That's the plan.
So that'll be fun. So yeah, I guess the skin on the overlay is the Bushwhacker bush outfit from the 5th anniversary codes. So yesterday was the 7th day of codes. Sorry about the typo, but we figured that out. We corrected the typo for the 7th code. So yeah, if that's what you get from redeeming the 7th code, and you redeem all 7, and you get the idle buff as well. The codes are good for 2 weeks after they first launched, so there's only a week left to find the 1st anniversary code. And you guys have 2 weeks to redeem the 7th code if you're trying to hold off on the idle buff for a time. that makes more sense for you. And you guys also managed to do the coloring sheet activity after 3 weeks of coloring sheets. So you guys have a idle buff from the coloring sheet as well. It went out Tuesday night, the code for redeeming the idle buff. So that's double idle buffs to hang on to. The coloring sheet code expires next Friday. Mela says this community has some awesome artistic talents. Yeah. No, it always surprises us what the coloring sheets end up being.
Mm-hmm.
Slab McLarchuge, I'm sure there will be tons of questions today about the details of your choice of implementation for the huge dungeons nerfs. But first, I'm curious about your motivation for the nerf. Why specifically did the team feel that the return was too large? It seems that talents can cost anything, so that can't be it. In fact, magic training costs scale quite well with the old dungeon rewards, and Tier 7 could mirror that cost system, so what was the deal? The main deal was that players were sprinting in half an hour for 1% of their idols. So that was one of the motivating factors for changing the distribution of the idol bonus. Because I didn't want sprint runs to be that effective. The dungeons are supposed to be about the dungeon points and the dungeon coins. So I know players are still going to sprint because that still makes sense because it's a half-hour return. But I just wanted to slow the progression a bit if that's what players were going to do. Gregatrim, is the next Crusader going to be a DPS? Yes, the plan is for the Summer Sabotage Crusader to be a DPS Crusader. Keyroot73, what are you using instead of Photoshop, Kat?
Excuse me. This is Clip Studio Paint, which is what I use to ink the coloring sheets to have those really nice, crisp lines. And is basically what I use almost exclusively for my own art at this point. Yeah. It just feels nicer, and it definitely seems to take up less RAM and memory and whatever than Photoshop.
Cool. Saffron Nitrox says he's adorable. I'm not sure if they're talking about the bush skin or the start of the sketch.
I would guess the bush skin, but either way, thank you.
Yeah. Susan says, why not just list all of the anniversary codes in Nightbot? That would have been a thing to tell Nightbot to do, but I will do a summary post, or I will update the anniversary blog with all 7 codes, not that they're all released, and have that shared in the newsletter tomorrow, just so players don't miss it. Susan, so how many complaints have y'all gotten about the dungeons? Change is understandably something that brings out lots of feedback. So we've gotten some feedback. And honestly, I had to make a choice, and I made a choice. Green Samurai 23, I'll start things off. The dungeon changes came as a bit of a surprise. I understand them, but I think the nerf and rewards for the area 6,500 to 8,500 or so is pretty harsh and disincentivizes them a fair bit. For people around 1Q idols, it's a real hit and players are going back to free play. Any chance you will reveal that to make it friendlier for mid-game players? That has been some of the feedback we've gotten. The players who are like in the middle, who are just like almost just benefiting from the dungeons, but it was a trade-off with the free plays. I could see us trying to figure out a way to smooth that out, but I'm not sure how it would, if we can do a piecemeal system for like it tapers off once you're a veteran in the end game, and yeah. But with today's update, there is an idle buff available for dungeon coins, which will also help with the amount of idols you get out of the dungeons. Slab McLartude, will sprint in dungeons be extended to area 5000? If that happens, then the idol distribution might make a bit more sense. As it is right now, going to 5000 is still less efficient than sprinting, which is right where players would be as they first start doing dungeons. That is true. The changes to the idol bonus was so that we could have some wiggle room for extending sprint if that is something we choose to do with a future talent update. JS Random Numbers, new talents coming soon. They are on my to-do list, but I don't feel comfortable giving it ETA for new talents. Retro Alarm, have you any plans for people who play on Kong once Flash is no longer supported in popular browsers and they do not want to use Steam? We'll just have a downloadable launcher on our Codename Games website as well as the one on Steam, but unless there's like some really retro browsers that support Flash still, it will just be the downloadable launcher on the Codename Games website or Steam for after Flash is dead. Cisco says, hello from Austria.
Hello.
Hardball UK, the skin a Furby clone?
Not on purpose, but I can see where you're coming from. I thought it looked a little bit like a bird, weirdly.
It does kind of look like a bird, but I guess maybe the eyes and like the body shape makes it look like a Furby.
Mm-hmm. It's just a bush. He's silly.
Cassius, I have yet to retry the dungeons yet. Did they get easier? No? Still just doing your best to build the formation to get as far as you can. We did change the points required for the last few levels of the dungeon. So you need, what's it? It was 290, it's 223 now. So 67,000 less points to finish the season. And you can now plan ahead for getting the Little Reaper because you know it'll cost 5,000 tokens when it's finally available to purchase from the Dungeon Depot. But yeah, it's just the ease of the dungeons. They're World's Wake free play difficulty, so it's just your formation building skills for getting farther on them. Nate DeGreat, how many people work on Crusaders? So Kevin is the lead programmer of Awesomeness, and Kat is the lead artist of Awesomeness, and I try to do everything else, so like coming up with the ideas for the objectives and the talents and planning the Crusader upgrades, but I do get input from Kevin on the talents and the upgrades. And we can ask the old team, Justin and Dave, for help as well, for their input when we're making tough decisions. But yeah, it's just the three of us. And I still do Idle Champion stuff as well, so I'm not even full-time on Crusaders most of the week. It's a 70-30 split with Idle Champion stuff, so... Billy Ray Joe, I'm a mid-level player that just started to hit the E1100 cap and started into the dungeons. They were fun and a good change of pace. I would get about 1/6 idols from a free play. Now it feels like I'm penalized for doing dungeons, and in order to do them, I have to give up any chance of progressing while doing the dungeons. Is it possible to change the percent reward based on the idols you have collected to still participate in dungeons? Sorry for the long questions. So, like, if you have less idols than the top players, then the dungeons give you more idols out of a dungeon reset than a top player's idols. I'm not sure if we could do it based on idols, but that has been some of the feedback about the mid group of players who aren't getting to area 7,000 on a dungeon run, but aren't getting as great idols from the free plays at the current cap. Green Samurai 23, a message from the chat friend Arjcubic. Sorry, can't stay. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for all the hard work you do. Just wanted to throw out this trivia, if I remember counting it correctly. We have 154 Crusaders and 45 skins so far with the Wackerbush. So the next sprite Kat works on is number 200. Oh. Whoop whoop, take care. I'll watch the stream during the weekend.
Thanks for that trivia. I didn't realize I'd done that many skins, honestly.
One skin an event, so for the entire event season, that's 17 skins, and then we did the base 20 skins.
Right, yeah.
That's a chunk, and then I guess that means we've done 8 skins just for the skin store alone. Or, well, no, yeah. Anniversary skin, too, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Oh, yeah, and Renna's skin of, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Those numbers add up.
Yeah, thanks for the trivia.
Cisco 51. Are there any chances to get more materials or to have idols do more damage? Well, when we add more talents, the idols that you have can be spent on talents that'll help you do more damage, but I guess you just want to talent that increases the damage percent from the idols themselves. And the more materials question comes up as well. I'm not sure if that would be another talent or if we would come up with some other way to get materials to players. That's a bit more efficient than silver chests. Armored Knight 8. Any chance of ever having a dungeon reward that rewards % common materials like idols? Well, we don't currently total. I know the fan site has the, hey, this is your amount of materials owned in common materials. We don't do that in the game itself, so it's not like we could give out a % of your materials owned. But that has come up before as a request to get more materials somehow from doing the dungeons to help with those million level ups of legendaries. Fly by Moon. A thing I have noticed. When you enter a new event, you gain just enough event currency to unlock all heroes to tier 5 and 2 tier 5 objectives without time warps. Assuming you have the talent that gives you the free event currency at the start. That's pretty cool. I mean, the original event currency number was just to, do the entire event and the free plays, but yeah, you do need some time warps and the talents to do an entire event if you're a new player who has never done the event before. But otherwise, we only expect players to be able to do like 2 or 3 tiers in an event at a time. So the players that do power through and do all 5, and in the future all 6 tiers, that's pretty impressive. Cody HGN. For such a small team, you guys get stuff done. Proud of you.
Thanks. We do our best. I, for one, appreciate the understanding that we're a small team, and yeah, we do our best.
Yeah, sometimes I have to wonder, it's like, if we had the resources of some of the bigger companies, what would the updates look like then? It's like, oh boy.
I don't know.
I
mean, we could probably finally do another campaign, for one thing.
No, that's true. But yeah. I mean, we do an impressive amount of work for what is essentially one guy doing all the coding. It's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy LJ, if you are looking for a way to decrease the number of quick resets, please do something with spend X ticket starting achievements. 2 days ago, I had 40k tickets to spend on 1 minute recess. It's wasting my time and server resources. I would have bought the chests instead. I mean, you have the chance of getting the jeweled all-tier event chest from completing a free play. But yeah, that was one of the things I was considering to change with the tier 6 events was maybe not having the token spending go past 100,000 tokens for the tier 6 events. But we will discuss that. Slab McLartuch. I think if the changes to the dungeons had gone along with a brief Reddit post or something explaining what the change was going to be, that would have limited the complaints. Fair enough. I have been saying for a while that I was going to review the idle buff, and it's on me. I apologize for the surprise. I know that not everyone watches the stream, so obviously me saying I want these changes out before the anniversary buff goes live this week is not an indication of the changes coming on a Friday. But I was in autopilot mode and they were in the game and we needed to do a push for the weekend buff. So I made the decision that I get to live with of releasing them with the weekend buff push. Dids 999, which seat gonna be the new Crusader? We haven't chosen that yet, but we are discussing the new Crusader this afternoon. Green Samurai 23, can you leak anything from today's update? Sure, today's update includes the idle buff in the Dungeon Depot. What else? You can now save taskmasters to your saved formations, and apparently that'll just happen organically. When you load a saved formation, it'll capture and resave all the locations of your taskmasters to that formation, so you don't have to go in and resave all your formations everywhere. So that's pretty cool tech that Kevin got. You can now multiple use buffs, so you can use 5, 25, or 100 buff cards at a time. Where's the changelog? And right, the bench will. There's now a visual option to toggle the bench. If you've done at least 25 resets of the world, you can see the entire bench all the time, instead of having to wait to earn enough gold to see the entire bench, which is a long time coming. So Bunga Bunt says, my biggest problem with the nerf was how it was handled. No warning that it was coming. Yes, I got on autopilot and I apologize. I didn't do any more warning than saying I would like the buff changes to be live before the buffs went out this week. That's not a very good warning because it only affects a few players in the community. And I'm only human and I will do better next time. Cisco 51, it should be renamed Crusaders of the Lost Materials. Is there any plan to make idols more important? New talents is going to make idols more important. New content, I guess, that you need idols to run. But yeah, we can just keep trying. Hate making names 1. If the problem was sprints, why not do what normal runs do? Add a penalty for running shorter than X amount of time. Also, there's only 15 runs per week, so would it even matter if someone sprints if people couldn't endlessly buy more dungeon runs? I mean, we do have the reset fatigue. It does apply to the dungeons, but you can just sit that out. So you could just sit out any reset fatigue we did put on. And I want players to be able to buy more runs so they can get points to finish the season. So, it just the choice I had to make. Tetsuji Fallen. A common complaint from the initial dungeon release was to make it less random as to which map gets which bonus, and more like challenges, so you couldn't get stuck with a map you cap at 6,000 and not get the maps you cap at 8,000. Instead, you change things to make them more RNG dependent, where we could get the worst map back to back, on top of the change making the difference between getting good map and bad map so much worse. Why? There was a bug over the weekend with the dungeon bonuses not rotating properly, and that should have been fixed on Tuesday afternoon if you reload the game. So if you're still experiencing the bug with the back-to-back dungeon bonuses, then let us know. Cassius, new Crusader. Did the Cookie Monster take up basketball? Ooh. Aw. She looks like an elf.
Cookie Monster. Unless they're talking about the Bushwhacker skin, that could be Cookie Monster-esque.
I'm not sure.
It's a sketch. I'm getting there.
It's a sketch, yeah. Nate DeGreat 314, thoughts of setting hotkeys for time warps or buffs? No, we have a limited number of hotkeys already, and I think there are more important windows that players would like us to add hotkeys for. But your taskmasters can use your buffs too. Mayhem 81. Would it be possible to get some lower costing taskmasters? As a new player, just getting the 1,000 rubies was attainable, but the next jump to 5,000 rubies is a bit rough with having limited objectives you can complete. Perhaps like a 2,000 or a 2,500 taskmaster. I think at last count, if you can do all the objectives in the game, you get like 90,000 rubies, which is why the taskmasters cost like they do. And because of the being able to get jewel chest drops randomly from boss kills instead of the random silver chest drop, we assumed that players would be saving for taskmasters with their rubies. So in addition to the objectives and the daily quests and the missions for rubies, you can save up for the taskmaster and get the chests through the chest missions and through the random drops to help gear up the base 20 Crusaders. Just Ricky 2. Any plans to add a Crusader that adds stacks faster? I just realized the Gold Hound is next event, but I barely even get him max stacks. What's Gold Hound? Stacks at... They stack for monster kills. Yeah, I guess he wouldn't stack very much on a boss area where you're... if you have the bossing around talent. Or if you have too many of the Crusaders that speed up area completion, because he does want 20 stacks to max, which would be 20 monster kills. I don't think I would have a Crusader that would make monster kills count for more stacks on a Crusader. That could get messy. But we'll keep in mind the request. Cody HGN says, I think the Cookie Monster comment was when the sketch didn't have ears. That might be fair.
Maybe it's been too long since I've seen Cookie Monster, but he is a little blob like this. That's a Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's all good.
Pivor asked earlier, does the multiple buff apply to time warps? And Kevin is telling me that yes, you can use the new hotkey or the toggle to activate multiple time warps at once, along with the buff cards. Slab Miglartute, do you have a design point for when you want players to seriously consider dungeons? If so, let us know what it is and we could figure out the idle distribution curve so it could be welcoming for those players and scale in a way that still motivates going as deep as you can for high idle players. The introduction of the piecewise idle reward tech was great and opens up a lot of tuning options. I mostly just wanted the dungeons to be about getting into the points, and so if it worked out, and then season 2 can have cooler rewards. And the idea of starting it so early after completing From the Ashes was that so you'd still be able to start collecting points and coins and benefit a little bit even if you don't have a lot of power yet, and you get to see what your uncapped DPS would be. If you have the kind of formation building ability, you get to see what potential uncapped DPS you have, so you know you can tackle the rest of the objectives. But it is becoming clear that it might be worthwhile having idle distribution for the mid-game players in the dungeons. We'll see what comes out of discussions around that. Cubert73. She looks like an elf now, but it's obviously an elf in a wheelchair, which is awesome.
Yeah, she is. I'm glad you think it's awesome.
JS Random Numbers. Oh, right. Can we have a few free rerolls per week for dungeon bonuses so we can skip the meh dungeons without spending all of our precious coins, especially now that there will be a coin idle buff to spend coins on? I'm... Potentially. I don't know if... It would definitely have to be limited, so you guys just didn't try and roll it until it went on the best formation. But it is something we can consider. Croc360 says, up until the female aspects and the elf ears were added, she was giving me Captain Pike from Star Trek vibes. Interesting. Cassia says, yeah, in my defense, the ears weren't on the drawing when I wrote my prior comment.
It's all good, guys. I'm not offended or anything. Cookie Monster is great.
Cookie Monster skin when? Gregatrim, I heard there used to be a player council that interfaced with Codename. Any chance of having something like that revived to help with community interfacing planning? The Discord community is quite robust and very good at disseminating information. It's not currently in the plans to revive it. They were definitely helpful at the time, although since it was a volunteer position, obviously not all of them took advantage of testing the stuff that we let them test when it was live. But yeah, if the game continues and if I manage to free a chunk of time, we could consider doing it again. Fly by Moon. Is the new Crusader a wheelchair rugby player? That is one brutal sport.
She is! I'm glad somebody knows how to recognize that, because they have very specific chairs. Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't have data mined that because Kevin hasn't even put her in the game yet, so.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. They could identify the wheelchair.
I'm happy now.
Because I said I wanted this one to be a DPS, Kat's like, okay, which Paralympic sport fits with DPS? So, didn't you say there was something about rugby being murder ball?
Yeah, that originally it was called murder ball, and like it's still a full contact sport. So, in my very little research that I had time to do, there was one video that had a really nice overview, and it was only like 2.5 minutes or something, and it's like, I hope it's not offensive to say, but it's kind of like bumper cars because they just bash into each other, and sometimes they fall over all the way. And it's like, oh man, that sucks, but it's just part of the game. So it looks really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I had known since at some point, like last year when I was doing preliminary planning for future events, that I wanted to take advantage of the Olympic theme to do a Paralympic athlete.
Right.
So this has all worked out quite well, I think.
Slamming Gratitude. Also, I'll mention that even for the 100Q idle players, the free-for-all and Sunday stroll maps are still really rough. Getting them feels like ugh. Because, yeah, they have limited formation slots, so having some number of rerolls would be great. Just players would still like to do them for the achievements, but otherwise avoid the really punishing maps, giving the new idle returns. I thought they were cool formations. Obviously, they're not cool formations. But they were formations we haven't done before. So part of the Season 2 feedback was asking that we change some of the formations up. So we may tackle those two, take them out of rotation or something for Season 2. GSR, how close are we to Mindy 2? That's not something I can give an ETA on. It's still on my... I'd like to tackle this, though. Ked Garrett, this just opens the option to have her having an Oscar the Grouch skin for next year. Oh,
oh no.
I mean, I guess, but...
Wheeling around in a trash can. Oh, that doesn't seem like a good idea.
JS random numbers, how much is the coin shop idle buff? The Dungeon Depot idle buff should be 25 dungeon coins. Pivor says, hi Erika, the new patch is live, but the idle buff is coded as a speed buff. I will get Kevin looking on that. Cypher Nitrox. If you can dodge a ball, you can dodge mutiny. This Crusader gives me new motivation to beat mutiny.
Nice.
Just Ricky 2, another rugby player. Poor Carl sitting on the bench.
Was he supposed to be rugby? I thought he was football.
Carl is football, yeah. And Morrigan's football, and...
Because Blood Bowl is basically just football.
Yeah.
But Paralympics is all sorts of sports.
So Kevin is looking into the idol buff in the Dungeon Depot. Green Samurai 23, can you explain the new change about being able to see all the bench slots? I don't see anything different. Huh. It should just require you not needing gold to see all the bench slots, but I will check with Kevin about that if it's not working properly. Leptimus, so the skin will be a giant cookie jar with giant cookies as wheels and a cookie instead of the ball.
Yes, of course.
Balder 549, changing formations in the dungeons. Second that, change them every season. Oh. Fly by Moon. Reloaded the game to see the update. Now my map is gone and there's a silver chest stuck in the middle of my screen. Huh. No. It shouldn't have broken. If you reload again, is it back to normal? I am No Caloos. Hello, the 7-day code is not working. Copy paste from Twitter. Did you copy and paste the one with the typo where it's missing the C in the whacker? Or did you forget the exclamation mark? Because some of the codes have exclamation marks and those are part of the code. You need to have all 16 characters for a code to work. Billy Ray Joe, just wanted to thank you for answering all these questions. It can't be easy taking all the questions after any type of nerf. I'm glad to have a time like this to ask questions in this format. Thank you.
We try and be receptive to feedback.
Gent Jersey, what does it mean invalid or locked user ID in error? Huh. That's I think that happens. It's a really rare error. If you could email in, that would be great, to crusaders@codenameentertainment.com, and then we can look at getting you fixed. Roundmug, where is the From the Ashes accomplishment required to play in the dungeons? From the Ashes is a tier 3 objective on the Mischief at Mugwort's campaign. So once you've completed all the tier 3 objectives for the first 5 campaigns, and then all the tier 3 objectives for the first 5 campaigns, you'll be able to do it. GSR, why are some coffers in the Dungeon Depot different colors? Weird graphic oddity. It should all be the same chest, but maybe there's a different mask on them? I don't know. I can have Kevin check the colors. Cassius, new shop buttons on the chest open screen look nice. Shame Kevin didn't stick a redeem code button up there while he was at it. Well, you can hit the shop button and go to the redeem code button, so it's really quick. Green Samurai 23, yes, agreed. Thanks for taking questions kindly. Does the new Crusader have a name?
Una.
It is an O name. Yay.
Yes.
Gent Jersey, does it mean the user was banned from the game? No, it's a weird data error, but we need your account information and a screenshot of the error message to fix it, so emailing in to crusaders@codenameentertainment.com will allow us to look into that. Tommy LJ, the saved formations do not load now only part of it with 253. So you're not getting your entire formation loading, or if you could put in a ticket about that one, that'd be great. Slab McLartude just bought the week-long idle buff and it's 100% spawn speed instead. Yeah, Kevin has updated that, but if you accidentally got the spawn speed buff, put in a ticket and I will update it to the idle buff. Flybymoon reloaded the game, still having the same problem. Oh boy. Flybymoon, can you email your account name and where you're playing the game? And we'll look into that. Just Ricky 2, by the way, can we also have a redeem code button in the chest page? It's kind of a drag to open a bunch of weekend chests at the same time sometimes, to be honest. I mean, ideally, you're redeeming the code when you get it, so you're just doing one at a time. But now with the shop button on the chest screen, you can just hit the shop button and the redeem button, and it's a little bit quicker. Kedgear, just want to express my appreciation to Kat for designing Crusaders that aren't just visually a human female DPS or upright walking male animal tank.
Thanks. I try. I like to inject diversity. And it's also more interesting for me, man.
Croc 360, are the chances on the dungeons evenly split, or is it weighted to make the stronger dungeons less likely to get selected? It should just be random, even across all 10. It's not weighted to give you the crappy dungeons. Newbie Doobie Doo. Oh, that's pretty cool. Hi, Erika and Kat. Long-time listener, first-time caller. How much mini EP will the T6 Crusaders come with? To be determined. But it'll be consistent across all Tier 6 Crusaders. Tommy LJ saying they only had 6 Crusaders load of their saved formation and the rest was empty. And you have enough gold and they're all bought. Hardbell UK, there has been talk in chat that the top progress bar in the dungeons is red, orange, or green. Is this related to progress to complete? Top progress bar. It's possible. Kevin added funky colors. I know we do have the Easter egg that if you buy the Benefactor's Pass, then the skull on the bottom corner will be glowing and lit up all the time.
Mm-hmm. Ultimate spooky.
Yeah, ultimate spooky. Flybymoon says they'll email if the problem persists. It could just be the update is so new. Kawani says, I like the designs Kat comes up with.
Thank you.
Gragatrim says that drawing looks really awesome currently. Can't wait to see the finished image.
Thanks. I consciously doing a simpler one this time. There won't be much of a background, if anything, because yeah, I think I was doing too complicated last couple ones.
And Kawani says the bushwhacker is fabulous.
Thank you. He's cute and silly, and I mean, you can thank Erika for the idea as well.
Well, I mean, I said bushwhacker, and then you're like, here's a bush. It's a silly bush. And I'm like, yes, it's looking cool.
Exactly.
Everything needs more pandas.
Pandas are nice. We do have a gold panda, though, and there's a fair bit of requests for different animals. So I think before we would do, like, a second panda, we would do some of the other things that have been asked for that I can't think of right now, but I've got written down elsewhere.
Oh, and Flyby Moon is having a fun graphical thing where the Save Formations panel is no longer there. Oh boy.
No.
Maybe that means I should... get out there and see what I can see in the debugger. Bungo Bunt says, thanks for doing these streams, Erika and Kat. Sorry we get so upset sometimes. I guess it just shows we love the game and are passionate about it. Hopefully you are too. Yeah, I know it comes from a place of love, and
yeah, we
I don't like making mistakes. I had a crappy weekend last weekend. Sorry. Yeah.
We definitely appreciate the passion and also appreciate the feedback in a respectful manner. Constructive and not just yelling and pitchforks, which is, it's good. Yeah, because there are definitely other gaming communities that are just like toxic all the way down, but we got a good one.
Newbie Doobie Doo, really glad for another Elf Crusader. The only other elf tag I have is Irulan. More elves, please. Huh.
Yeah, as I was deciding what race to make this Crusader, I was going to do Dwarf, but it just sort of wasn't working out with the design and stuff. So then I was looking and I realized that the last time we did an elf was Rena. So I was like, all right, I think we are due for another elf.
Huh. Stream computer does not have print screen. Shut up.
Oh.
Just let me snip Windows. Come on. Flyby Moon's asking if they broke their game. I am not sure, but probably emailing would be the best bet if you can't put in a normal ticket, and then we can try and solve this. Ying Yang Beetle is asking, would you do an insect crusader?
Absolutely. I love bugs. I really want to do a queen bee, but it's finding a place to add it. And it would have worked for the camping event, but I wanted to do a dryad more than I wanted to do a bee. So there's all these ideas, and then I have to figure out where they can fit and how to prioritize them.
Bunga Bunts, after reloading, some of the save formations have been changed. Oh boy.
Oh no.
We were just supposed to automatically add the taskmasters. Jabble, maybe a red panda this time. Red pandas are cute, yeah.
They are extremely cute.
Jesterkey 2, I'm also really curious who's going to get the event skin this time. Summer Sabotage has one of my favorite sets of Crusaders. Yeah, we tease that it's going to be a Milgrid skin, just because popular.
It's kind of the obvious choice, and, not gonna
lie. Croc, before we run out of time, can we tease the weekend promo? Sure. It is the Under the Sea weekend promo with buffs for Natalie Dragon, Frosty the Snowman, Katie, Aitiaka, and Adina, with a golden epic slug for Adina. Dids 999. Some animal would probably be popular, like the fox, the owl, the red panda, an otter, a duck, a platypus, an eagle, a beaver, or a moose for the fellow Canadians.
Yeah, animals are
lots of animals. Pivor, do a spider.
I love spiders. I really do.
Yeah.
They're impossible to animate. I actually do not know how. I have tried, and I had to give up.
Slab McLartude bees, queen bee for next April 1st, but it's actually Freddie Mercury. That's kind of cute. Ashak Tanra is the code not working for anyone else. This is Crusaders of the Lost Idols code. So if you're trying to redeem it in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, then it won't be working for you. Newbie Doobie Doo, still dreaming about a Transformers Voltron themed Crusader that can transform. Leptimus, a Queen Bee could be a skin for Queen Ciri.
Yeah, I have actually considered that. We shall see.
We have the Spider Taskmaster, but it's not really walking, right? It's just being adorable.
He just wiggles. No, there were spider monsters in the Hidden Temple event.
Yeah.
That I did years ago. And I was looking up spider walk cycles and everything, and it's just it was too much for my brain to parse, so I just gave up and sort of made it acceptable, though not accurate.
Bungo Bunswire, goose is geese, mouse is mice, but moose is not meese. I'm Canadian and I don't even know. Whoever names the species gets to name the plural. I don't know. And they're saying we also have Arachnobuddy, but he's not really a spider.
Yeah.
Twitch Pal Player, thank you for the chest. We'll have to watch the video to see the stream for today. Y'all have a great weekend. See you all next week.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, thanks for watching. What you could. Cassius, if Crusaders does a Canadian red panda, hopefully they remember the trench coat and hypnosis powers. Okay.
We shall see.
Leptimus, let's have a Kafka-esque insect for Halloween.
We'll see.
That would be impressive. Ashak Tanra, did you say if you were trying the code in Idle Champions or Crusaders? Because it won't work in Idle Champions. But yeah, that is... 11. Round Mug, is there time for one more question? I heard something called a time gate. Is there a time gate? Time gates are in Idle Champions. It's their way of getting old event champions, unlike our mission system, which lets you get the event Crusaders that you're missing through the mission system. Yeah, I don't think we would implement that in Crusaders, but it would, because you guys see the event formations through the challenge system, but it could be a way to get you more chests for the Crusaders who are missing gear if the recipes aren't enough. But yeah, Kedgear says bye, thanks for your time. Croc says great pick, Kat, thanks for the preview. Bungo Bunt says I'm in a wheelchair and I approve this Crusader.
Oh, awesome.
Aww. That's awesome. That's part of Kat's crusade for getting representation in the game. So.
It is. It's as long as it means something to one person, I have succeeded. So I've already succeeded.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's been our stream for Thursday, August 6th, 2020. It's already August.
Yeah.
And day 101 of working from home, as Eric is going to keep reminding us. So thank you guys for being an awesome community. Thank you, Kat, for joining me on stream. Thank you, Jay, behind the scenes, catching all the questions from the CNE Games account. And yeah, I have some bugs to discuss with Kevin. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.